Well, there's joyful music if ever I heard it. Doesn't it
I
just make
was
you
shaking to it
smile?
and I thought I better stop.
No, I'm vibing behind the scenes. It's like, "Do, do, do, do." Well,
Oh,
welcome everybody to Weaverbirds Live TV with me, Karen Weaver, and
Emma Weaver.
and we both have our own businesses. The thing that brings us together is that we are sisters and we both share the same values and also, I suppose, work ethic and of service to others to help the world be a better place, don't we, sis?
Absolutely. And that is something I suppose that we've been called to do, using all different mediums and genres, but the essence is always still the same. So it's a really good energy and space to be in to be able to do this.
Oh, it's so good. I love our Weaverbirds TV. It's just fun. We have really cool conversations, and we have a list of guests now who are going to come and join us on the show. So we're going to start bringing people into
Yeah.
season 3 very shortly. But today we are going to talk about. You'll see it scrolling down the bottom. Um, an inspiring sisterly conversation of life wisdoms and well-being strategies, okay, that will sustain a high vibe, joyful life. I don't know about you, but I'm always asked about that, because how do you do? And the reality is sometimes I don't do, but I don't beat myself up about it. I do the best that I can. And I know and understand the importance of my well being because if I don't take care of myself, and I talked about this before in the show, if I don't take care of myself, I can't give the best of myself to others. And that's something I'm very mindful of because I went through a very low point where I hit rock bottom. And it was because I was tinkering about on that line, that you never want to fall below. But
Yeah.
whereas we need to pour into ourselves, and you talk about the strategies for this, Emma, about keeping
Yeah.
your reserves there. So do you want to speak on that?
And I suppose it's really important to say to people, it's not that life is this happy all the time and everything's going amazing and you're living in this false sense of joy and happiness. It's about having a positive mental attitude, a PMA, and that is definitely something that I talk about a lot more. We get to choose, believe it or not. And this seems to be a concept. If you're living in a mindset of victimhood or why is this happening to me, and it's quite easy to do that. There's so many circumstances can bring that into your life, but I believe the moment that you realize, oh, I get to choose to try and lift my mood or create joy in every day. Like a gratitude journal is absolutely huge, huge. You've got to feel it, you've got to understand it, you've got to know it. There is always something good in every day, even on your absolute worst days. And I know it sounds like I'm being, oh, there's always something good everywhere, because there is. There absolutely is. Whether it was the smell of the coffee, the pen that you wrote your gratitude with, being able to go out for a walk, the cuddles from your children, that happy phone call you got, whatever it is, we get to choose. And it's really important to consider that in your life. That we get to choose whether to try and find gratitude or have a positive mental attitude. But it takes everything all of the time. So intentionally, and I use that word a lot, intentionally looking after your well-being, even on the days that you don't feel like it. But certainly, and we've talked about this before, your mental wealth vault, where it's in those things that you're doing all the time, all the time, all the time, and it's a compound effect. You're really filling your vault or your cup full of all these amazing things. So on the days when you're not feeling so great, you don't hit that floor, or you're not going under the line that you talked about, because you've built yourself up.
Yeah. Oh, isn't it? You choose it every single day. And one of the things I've been doing mindfully that I got out of the habit of doing is I've been getting up and starting my day writing now. And whether it's for half an hour or an hour or whatever I get to do, it just sets my day up the best way for me. So you need to know what that is for you. But I want to invite our viewers to look at your day. Look at it. Give yourself your life an audit. Just look at one day and just see where you could just turn something around, turn a negative into a positive. I heard something really insightful today, that we don't get overwhelmed because of things that we want to do and are enjoying doing. It's because of we have so many things that we don't want to do, because if it's filling us up and filling us full of joy, and yes, we're going to do some things that we don't want to do, but making sure that the scales balance the right way, not the other way, and then you'll always feel lighter. You'll feel uplifted. You'll always feel that you're above things. You're in control of your life, and that you're being progressional, and things aren't taken away from you. They're filling you up as you go along, and that, I think, is so important whenever you are really setting yourself up for a day, a week, a month, a year, a lifetime. It's all those little decisions that you make every single day that absolutely sets you up for that day. And that day turns into the next day and the next day. And so it's really important that you do that audit of your day to see what you can change. And it's not a big run, leap and jump and it can just be, I always say, the magic happens just a sidestep out of your comfort zone. You don't need
It
to take a
definitely
big,
does.
it's just a sidestep. And those little incremental sidesteps will advance you. And within a few weeks, you'll be looking back going, oh my goodness, look how far I've come. Hey,
And that
Sheena.
is how it happens. Oh, there's Sheena. Hi, Sheena. And that is how it happens, but you've got to trust the process. And quite often, then, when we do start to feel great, we start to maybe slip on that thing that was making us feel good. And then it's about going back and revisiting it and just knowing you need to constantly keep at it. You just need to constantly keep at it. We live in a really fast paced world. And a lot of the people that would be in my circles that I talk to all have a very early morning routine. It absolutely resets them for the day, allows them to set their intentions. And I mean, and see, whenever you were saying there about doing an audit, that's amazing. Sitting down and working out what was happening when you weren't feeling so good, why your day maybe was better than others, what did you do better, but also understanding. It's really important to me as well, whenever I'm making decisions or checking in on myself, to see, is it aligned with my values and goals? And I know there are words that people be like, what are you talking about? Even the little things, is this, am I speaking my truth? Because I
Yeah.
know I don't feel very good when I'm not speaking my truth. Am I speaking my truth? Do I understand why I'm doing what I'm doing? Is it because it's going towards my goals? Why am I doing this? It's a beautiful way to build your life and build your well-being and make sure that you're keeping well. But you've got to know what works, and you've got to know why you're doing what you're doing.
And yeah, exactly, absolutely, knowing who you are and what motivates you. And that changes. And that's one of the things people don't want to hear. They don't hear, oh, I've done all this work, I achieved this, and that's me, I'm happy, I'm hunky dory, I'm there. No, you're going to be moving on, you're going to be progressing, you're going to have to, there's change happening constantly. You cannot and you should not want to become stagnant in that, because we are here to grow. That comes with challenges and adversities. Goodness me, I face challenges and adversities all the time, but I do it with a different perspective than I believe a lot of people do. And that is with a growth mindset, going, okay, here's something new for me to learn so that I can grow into the next version of myself, so that my dreams are a step closer, or I'm about to step into them. When you do that and take that type of attitude rather than being resistant, because before any breakthrough of any kind, there's always a struggle. And when you allow, whatever, you just go through the struggle, either read or just let it pass through, just do the work you need to do, that you're ready to step into the I call it the pause. It's the power of the pause in that time when things just feel a bit, and you feel it in your gut. You just go, oh,
But Karen, it's really hard. It's really hard.
Oh,
And
it's so
then,
hard.
and then that's why I think you need to talk to somebody that's going to remind you yes, it's hard now, but you can come out the other end of it, and there's something to be learned here. And you're looking, thinking, I don't want, this is too hard. I don't want to learn this lesson. But that's how it works. That's just how it works.
Sheena,
You've got to kind of go
Sheena's
with it.
here. I'm like, Sheena, you have to come on the show next
you
week.
need
We
to,
want you on this show next week. Come in and have the conversation with us next week. We are inviting you to come join us, okay? Because you get it. You get it. You live it every single day. We live it every single day. It's not the easy road, but it's the most fulfilling. It's the most advancing that you're going to do on your journey. And it's fun if you don't focus so much on the destination, focus on the journey, allow yourself to just pass through the adversities, but focus so much on the PMA, positive mental attitude. I say that to my kids now. I don't know if you say it to yours. Whenever they're being a bit negative, I go, PMA. They're going, oh, Mom. PMA. Rein it in.
I know. But it's hard to take it at the time, but it works. It definitely works. And I mean, as I said at the start, it's not a false positivity or anything like that. You just got to work at it and understand it. And then even in those times when you're not feeling great, understanding maybe you're working through something, cut yourself a bit of slack, but choose to find the good or the joy. And that's what keeps you. And another thing as well is negativity and gossip. Never, ever, ever go near it. It just changes the whole vibe. It doesn't keep you aligned with what it is you're trying to do. But you've got to choose not to. You've got to be intentional and not get involved.
That brings me back to something that I wanted to, you mentioned earlier on, I wanted to bring us back to that, is that, you said a lot of people around me get up at 5 a.m. That's because you're surrounding yourself with the right people with growth mindsets and who are investing in mastering their moments. And like I talk about my master gifts all the time, because when you learn to master the flow and master the gifts within you that are yours, everybody individually has them, and you learn to master them with the most positive outcomes in mind, then you end up in a state of flow. And when you're in a state of flow, I want everybody to feel what that's like. It's not a continuous state forever in your lifetime. Once you get there, you still have to maintain it. It comes and goes. But when it comes, oh my God, that feeling it's euphoric. It's beautiful when everything just flows to you, and all your dreams, all your aspirations, everything just flows. But you've done the work. It's your reward. You've got into that beautiful flow and vibration. That energy is one to bottle up and remember the feeling of it, so that you can get back there maybe in a mindful moment on a dark day or something, just to pull it back to you. It's just beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. And you've got to I love that word flow, because quite often we're trying to force happiness or force gratitude or force ourselves out of a situation. Flow is a beautiful word, and it's definitely something that we need to consider a little bit more and look into. And there's a girl here, and I remember she's called Fermanagh Flow, and she used that term flow, and I remember thinking, oh, that's interesting. And I remember looking it up and understanding the essence of it as well is, it's in that trusting, in that knowing, in doing the work and understanding that this is how it flows.
Yeah. And having faith in the outcomes. No fear is allowed in there. You just allow things to be. Do your work.
But you have to learn that. I think you have to learn that, because it depends on your environment or how you grow up, the whole nature nurture argument. You've got to really understand it and learn new behaviors to sustain your joyful life.
It's not something that comes naturally, not in our culture anyway. That's the thing. It's not a natural thing. You have to unlearn a lot of things to learn that. And when you start to access and really harmonize with it, it's worth the work. Let's just say that.
It really is. It really is. It's worth it. You're worth it.
I don't like it. The super flow state. Maybe we should start really just, what is your top tip for getting into flow? Emma, what is yours?
Again, to be honest with you, it's a lot of writing for me. It's a lot of writing down and knowing who I am. And then I journal a lot, Karen, and that allows me to go back and remember. And then that just puts me back in that state of flow. Oh, now I remember, because quite often we can get, in those moments, you've got to remember the ease and flow. Let it come and let it go. Let it come and let it go all the time. Even affirmations, Karen, are huge. Affirmations around that ease and flow is
That's
huge for
our
me.
suggestion, isn't it? It's helping
Yeah,
you to be in a. For me, it's prioritizing joy. I know whenever I'm not prioritizing joy and having it as part of the day, um, then I'm sacrificing some of
yeah,
myself because I'm taking away from my full cup, whereas I'm not filling it
yeah.
up again. So prioritize joy. Whatever lights you up, do more of that. That's if it
That's your
lights you
TED
up,
talk.
makes you, yes, if it lights you up, do more of that, because that's where the joy of life is. That's where you're going to find your purpose, and that's
Yeah,
where you will have this beautiful flow state to come out of. And it's not just you that benefits, it's everyone around you, and people who love you will want you to be that, to experience that,
100%.
you know and in
And
doing
if
it
they
you can
don't,
show
they're not your
others.
people.
Yes, that's a good note for us to finish on, and we are going to finish
Yay.
on that. Do your life audit. Be mindful of the energies you have around you. Right, what makes you feel joy
Yeah,
at any time? What is it right now? Know that things change. What you aspire for now may change in 6 months' time. So you need to allow that change to happen, and don't fear it. Just allow it to be.
yeah.
It's got your back. It's got your back.
The universe has always got your back. You just got to show up for yourself.
Yes. All right. We will see you next week and with Sheena, hopefully.
Yay.
See you next week, guys. Bye. That's it
Bye.
from Weaverbirds Live TV. Bye.